Welcome to The Explainer. Let's talk about money. The financial choices we make, or honestly, the ones we totally avoid making, at every stage of our lives have massive ripple effects that can last for decades. So, today we are building the ultimate survival guide. We're going to unpack the most dangerous financial pitfalls waiting for you in your 20s, 30s, and 40s and show you exactly how to beat them.
Okay, let's kick things off with a pretty mind-blowing question. This comes from a major academic study by researchers at the Federal Reserve and a few top universities. When do we actually reach our absolute peak when it comes to making smart financial choices? Think about it for a second. Is it right out of college when we're fresh? Maybe in our mid-30s when we get that first big promotion? Got a guess? The answer is 53. Yeah, 53 years old. Wow. Think about what that really implies. It means that for decades prior to hitting our early 50s, our brains are essentially hardwired to make some pretty costly money mistakes. We're practically destined to stumble through our earlier adult years. And you can see this perfectly mapped out in the data. Look at this U-shaped curve showing our propensity to make financial errors. On the far left, you've got young adults in their 20s racking up a ton of mistakes, messing up interest rates, getting hit with late fees, maxing out credit. On the far right, older adults experience a similar spike. But right there in the middle, hitting the absolute lowest error rate in their early 50s, that is the sweet spot of our financial decision-making. So here's our roadmap for today. First, the financial age of reason. Second, your 20s, foundation or failure. Third, your 30s, the lifestyle trap. Fourth, your 40s, the sandwich squeeze. And finally, reaching your financial peak. Let's dive right in. Section 1, the financial age of reason. First, we really need to understand exactly why we're so prone to financial fumbles early on. Why does the data show younger people paying so much more in interest and fees? Well, check out how this graph breaks down our brain's two distinct toolkits. That red line represents our analytic capital, our raw, fluid problem-solving and memory speed. Notice how it actually drops off after our 20s. But look at the yellow line. That's our experiential capital. It's the real-world, hard-earned knowledge we accumulate over time. Handling money well takes both. So as our raw analytical speed starts to slow down, our life experience steadily rises, perfectly combining to create peak financial performance right around age 53. In our 20s and 30s, we simply haven't gathered enough of that experiential capital yet to dodge the common traps. Which brings us to Section 2, your 20s, foundation or failure. In this decade, the absolute biggest mistake you can possibly make is just doing nothing. It's a time when retirement feels like a million years away, and it's so easy to just ignore compounding interest while letting your debt balloon. The absolutely crucial point here is to choose the path on the left. In your 20s, you must build a foundation. That means grabbing your employer's 401k match immediately. It's literal free money. It also means making strategic lifestyle choices, like getting roommates to cut your housing costs by 50%. Seriously, a 50% reduction in your rent frees up infinitely more wealth-building capital than agonizing over skipping a daily latte ever could. You want to completely avoid the right side, swiping credit cards for everyday lifestyle expenses, financing luxury items on a whim, and having zero clue where your paycheck is actually going. Now, if you do carry student loans or credit card debt, you've got to use the avalanche method. It's a real game changer. Find the debt with the highest interest rate and aggressively attack that balance first, while just making the minimums on everything else. The second that high-rate debt is crushed, take all that payment power and avalanche it right onto the next highest rate. This method systematically wipes out the most toxic, wealth-destroying interest from your life. All right, Section 3. Your 30s, the lifestyle trap. As you move into your 30s, the challenges shift. Your income is likely going up. You might be buying a home, maybe starting a family. But rising income almost always brings rising expectations. And that leads us straight into the dreaded lifestyle trap. Let's look at the devastating math of lifestyle inflation. Let's say you get a raise that gives you an extra $10,000 in your local currency every single month. If you immediately upgrade your car, eat out at fancier places, and just absorb that cash into your everyday life, you're left with zero surplus. But if you invest that exact same monthly surplus into a diversified portfolio, let's assume a 12% return here, it compounds into massive wealth over 10 years. Missing this golden window in your 30s will literally delay your major life goals by decades. To combat this insidious lifestyle creep, you need some strict guardrails. Use the 50-30-20 rule to anchor your budget. You allocate 50% to your non-negotiable needs, you strictly cap your lifestyle wants at 30%, and you firmly guarantee that 20% goes straight to savings and investments. By capping your wants, you are forcing your lifestyle to grow slower than your income. And you know the ultimate trick in your 30s for securing those investments? Automation. Think about it. If you don't see it, you won't spend it. Make the money disappear into a high-yield savings account or an investment portfolio the exact same day you get paid. Do it before you ever have the chance to mentally claim it as spending cash.
Moving on to Section 4, your 40s, the sandwich squeeze. This is a decade where you might finally feel a bit of real financial comfort. But suddenly, you're hit with an entirely new threat, the incredible pressure of dual family obligations.
You might find yourself entering what's called the sandwich generation. This is a super complex life stage where you're caught right in the middle, simultaneously supporting aging parents who might need medical assistance while still funding your own growing kids. The biggest, most dangerous mistake here, dipping into your own retirement savings to fund these family obligations. It can completely derail your financial peak right when you're closest to it. Please don't do it. To survive the squeeze, you absolutely have to be proactive. First, have those candid, sometimes awkward conversations with your parents about their actual financial reality. Next, lock down comprehensive life and disability insurance. If you're the financial linchpin for 3 generations, your income must be protected. Also, take time to clean house, consolidate those old, scattered 401ks from past jobs, and seriously review your portfolio. The biggest investing mistake in your 40s is complacency and over-concentration in one single stock or real estate asset. You've got to stress test your plan so a single market dip doesn't shatter your family's safety net. Finally, Section 5, reaching your financial peak. Let's look at what happens when you successfully navigate all these turbulent decades and hit your early 50s. The data actually shows that middle-aged adults have the highest propensity for eureka moments. Because they possess all that high-level experiential capital we talked about earlier, they learn from past financial mistakes much faster. They recognize a bad deal instantly, they understand complex financial instruments, and they make optimal choices way more frequently than both younger and older demographics. They have truly arrived at the age of reason. Surviving the mistakes of your 20s, 30s, and 40s is ultimately all about moving away from spontaneous, emotion-driven choices and leaning into disciplined, automated systems. This quote perfectly summarizes the entire journey. The key lies in making strategic decisions that balance compassion with financial wisdom, creating systems that can be maintained over time. It's all about building habits that actually endure. So, we've covered the pitfalls of doing nothing in your 20s, the dangers of lifestyle inflation in your 30s, and the immense pressure of the sandwich squeeze in your 40s. Now, I want to leave you with this question to think about. Whether it's setting up an automatic transfer to an emergency fund, checking your employer's 401k match, or finally applying the avalanche method, what is one system you can automate tomorrow to guarantee your future self arrives at the age of reason fully prepared? Think about it and then go take action.